The Soviets and the Russians have been big fans of visored helmets ever since PUBG Mobile and Escape from Tarkov came out. Just kidding. They've been using them since early Soviet-Afghan times and have proven highly valuable to them in close quarter combat and have saved many lives due to their durable design. Bear in mind this is a two-part video because I couldn't fit everything I wanted to in one without it being rushed, and watch till the end for our two giveaways. So sit back, grab a cup of tea, and we'll be going over Russian visored helmets and how they evolved over time. Originally developed in 1400 AD. No, I'm not starting from back there. Let's go to more recent times. 1977, when a helmet by the name of the TIG/PSH-77 was manufactured. It was not actually manufactured in the Soviet Union, but by two foreign companies, a Swiss one named TIG Bicord AG and an Austrian company by the name of Ulbricht. TIG Bicord AG were the first to manufacture the helmet in the late 1970s. It is unknown what the PSH-77 designation stands for, however the 77 suggests that 1977 might have been the year of introduction of the helmet. The helmet is also commonly known as the TIG helmet after its manufacturer. These were the only two companies that possessed the means to produce titanium helmets in the world, and both companies pursued a similar style of helmet which maximised coverage of the wearer's head whilst providing radio communications and a removable bulletproof visor. The Austrian company used a traditional German suspension system consisting of a metal band and leather cap. The inner lining is the same as in the Springer Helm German M31 helmet, but the chin strap was changed due to its considerably higher weight than the M31. Alongside the Swiss using this helmet, it was also seen within the West German GSG-9, East German Diensteinheit IX until their dissolution, as well as the Yugoslavian and post-Yugoslavian units all the way up to the early 2000s. Now, this is where the Russian part comes in. The PSH-77 was purchased by the Soviets in the late 1970s in order to be used by the KGB units such as Alpha and Vimpel, thus becoming the first Spec Ops helmet of the USSR. The KGB desired a crash helmet for its own special purpose units, so a number of PSH-77 helmets were purchased. They were first seen during Operation Storm 333 and further along in the Soviet-Afghan War. Both types of PSH-77 variants from TIG and Ulbricht's helmets were purchased, since several have been released from the Alpha Group inventory. The helmet became a staple for the Soviet and later Russian helmet manufacturing, and examples of the TIG were handed over to Nistali for replication. They do say imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. Nistali then developed the capacity to produce stamped titanium helmet shells, which, as I previously mentioned before, were only available to Switzerland and Austria.
Great success.
Now, what came out of it? They had the capabilities for producing stamped titanium helmet shells. Did they continue to buy PSH-77 helmets? Or did they go sicko mode with their newfound manufacturing capabilities? You know damn well they went hard. Nistali, which literally translates to the Scientific Research Institute of Steel, what a job title they have, received their first samples of the PSH-77 in 1982. And by 1984, they had it, the new prototype of a titanium helmet, the Altyn. The first Altyn helmets had a 4mm thick layer of a stamped titanium on its shell and did not have any aramid layers. Nistali only produced the dome and the face masks, so their users had to install the communication equipment themselves. Armor glass was also imported from abroad. The early Altyn variant was called the Altyn R1 and was rated at Class 2 protection for the shell and Class 1 protection from the visor. They did, however, face difficulties when shot at by 7.62 by 25 Tokarev rounds from 8 meters. The helmet was first used in the 1993 constitutional crisis and in the two Chechen wars. They also became widely known after the Beslan school siege, during which the majority of Alpha and Vimpel operatives wore Altyn helmets. In the late 80s and early 90s, the aramid layer and radio was added, and the thickness of the titanium was reduced to 3mm. By 1997, more improvements came towards the Altyn. This was known as the Altyn R2M and had a number of improvements, one of which was domestically made armoured glass that was able to withstand Tokarev rounds at 5 meters and better quality shells. older PSH-77 helmets were also outfitted with this glass and radio sets. Compared to the PSH-77, the Altyn's face mask has a different rounded design, whilst the PSH-77 face mask has two cutouts at the two corners of the face mask, making shouldered aiming easier. In the late 2000s, the Altyn was being replaced by newer helmets from the LS-HZ series, as well as the RYS-T. Production stopped in 2009, with the last batch being produced for Cuban Special Forces. This was due to the fact that the Altyn was quickly becoming obsolete in the late 2000s compared to its Western fast counterparts. Alternatives to the Altyn. Nistali were back at it again. Due to the fact that the Altyn was produced for the KGB, Nistali did not have the right to produce the Altyn to be sold commercially, therefore created a commercial version called the K63. The K63 was a direct copy of the Altyn with some minor differences. The key identifying features of the K63 was that it lacked the radio which the Altyn had. The design of the edge of the pixel glass visor on the face shield was also different, being a thicker titanium frame with visible screws. It was also known as the 6B6-3 for the military. Another alternative came in 2006, also by our good friends at Nistali. You see there's a trend going on here. It came in the form of the RYS-T and the RYS-A, RYS meaning lynx, like the cat, and was used by the MVD and FSB, with again minor differences, thick metal borders compared to the Altyn, just like the K63. It also included a radio, just like the older Altyn brother, and the RYS-T was made out of titanium, and the RYS-A out of aluminium, hence the A and the T in their names. Other variants. The Maska series were close behind the Altyn. The Maska 1 was the first in the series and was seen in the First Chechen War. There was approximately 2,000 made by NPP Class, or as they're well known, Classcom. They are colloquially known by enthusiasts as the fishbowl helmet due to their similarity to a fishbowl. I'll pay good money for someone to make a fishbowl out of this helmet. Send me an email. It was rated at GOS level 2, and just like the Altyn, able to deflect most pistol rounds. The Maska 1 also had a polycarbonate glass insert visor. The other variant for the Maska 1 was the Maska 1 Shur, which everyone seems to know as the Tachanka helmet from the popular game Rainbow Six Siege. No Tachanka memes here. I'm still salty about losing my Ubisoft account to a Chinese hacker. I lied. One Shur came with an integral slit visor as a one-piece, or former Maska 1 fishbowls were modified with a slitted steel plate. Both count as the Maska 1 Shur. It was most popularly used by the Ministry of the Interior, Sobor and Omon troops throughout the First Chechen Wars, and there's footage out there of soldiers dumping their visors during a house-to-house firefight due to their severe restriction in vision. A Maska 1R variant also exists, which is essentially just a Maska with a radio set attachment to it, but these are super rare and I could barely find any pictures of them. And lastly for this video we have the Vityaz-S. I briefly went over the Vityaz-S Elektrichka helmet in a previous video, so I want to give it a little more justice. A Vityaz in Russian is a noble knight who rode a horse. This helmet was worn by a different type of noble knight, one of a tax collector, as the Russian tax police were the primary users of this helmet. It was made by Nistali at the end of the 1980s and weighed 4.5 kilos, similar to its Altyn relatives with the same ballistic protection. It was worn by the front man of the assault unit for maximum protection and had a rudimentary harness system inside of it. There was only 200 of the helmets produced with visors and 100 without, and reportedly no more than 10 are in private collectors' hands at the moment. Each visor were handmade individually for the helmet, and non-visored versions were more popular due to compatibility of the NVGs, because the lip on the helmets let you mount a helmet mount strap, which you can't do with the ZHS series of the helmets because they were too thick. Thank you very much for watching. In the next episode I'll be covering the more modern helmets in depth. Remember to check out our website paladinmilitarysupply.com, and as promised from the last video, we're giving away the 1980s Soviet oversuit to DDD-VX6IQ. Congratulations. If you send a message through our website, we can get the KZS suit on the way to you free of charge. And also, as we hit 500 subscribers after the last video, we're going to be giving away 3 Naval Infantry Tilnashka striped vests, all long sleeve, or a £10 gift voucher on our site, absolutely free to 3 lucky viewers. So, like always, comment, subscribe to be entered in and wait out for part 2 of this video, and we will reveal the winners. Have a nice day.